Grand Rising, my brother.
Grand Rising, my brother. Rising.
Well, that's great. Um, let's get show. Hello.
Yep, Grand Rising.
Good. Let's get right into the show, gentlemen. Um, Today on the Humblest Opinion, myself, Tony Bahama, Malik Adegamba, we where we bring you, or we try to be the pulse of Caribbean and Bahamian news, current events, Today we have an interesting topic, which is part of a two-part series, and we're going to discuss money, and not necessarily money in the sense that most people recognize and know, because as we all know, money is changing. Money in the sense of cryptocurrency. This show, we will discuss some of the ramifications that we well know of, some of the things that are hot topic, some of the instances of the past, and of course, the current money events. But before we get into that, as our disclaimer states that the Humblest Opinion is brought to you via an at-will clause, and is also brought to you by the AB2C Broadcasting, BCAB TV, and Professional Renaissance Protection Services. Our disclaimer states that anything said on this platform, anything expressed, any dissemination, any thought, any view that is accepted or thought of or expressed from or can be thought of from anything that we say on this platform is completely and totally 100%, free of liability. You do have the right to choose if you are interested. You have the right to exercise your choice to leave if it's something that we say that's that you do not agree with. We do support free speech, but if you decide to stay, anything we say is completely free of any liability on our behalf. One of the things we have to put into this show, or into our disclaimer, is nothing I say, nothing Brother Gamba says, should be taken as financial advice. You know, we have stories of success, but we're not advising you in any way, shape, or form, and are not liable in any way, shape, or form for any financial decisions that you may or may not make. Correct, Brother Gambo?
Yes, 100% correct. 100%
100%.
correct.
What you do with your money is completely and totally on you. Brother Gambo, tell us your thoughts.
All right. Well, as it relates to financial information, we need to first understand what these things are, how they help us, and in what ways we can now, right? We can now go into empowering ourselves with it.
Correct.
So when you look into history, what is fiat currency, which is the dollars that we spend in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
That was not always the way that we maneuvered with money. Initially it's like a bartering system. You got some sheep, I got some goat. You got you do fruits and vegetables, I do livestock. So we trade.
Yeah.
Or we trade in services. Okay, we come together and we build. We're gonna build a home. Okay, you know what? Well, what's it gonna cost for your time? Okay, you could take
Right.
this goat.
Yep.
You understand me? All right. So now, when we start getting into the value of certain elements of the earth, we get into gold and diamonds and these different things, gold would have been the standard, the real standard of quality of worth would be gold. So instead of you traveling around with a big brick of gold in your pocket, which is very heavy, by the way,
Right.
and shave off a piece, they came up with the concept that, okay, we will hold your gold for you, and if you have gold worth 1,000 £1,000, we come up to an understanding that your gold is worth this amount of money. Okay, so now we give you banknotes of that amount of money. So you have choices now. You can either go and pay somebody with those, and that could be utilized around, because we still have this gold now. If somebody wants to come to us and get it to go and redeem it, they could do that. Or if you decide you want to come back and redeem your gold, you can redeem your gold less the fee of us holding it for you. So here we become introduced to fiat currency. Now, as you mentioned, times are changing. During the course of this time, they printed up far more notes than they actually had in reserve. Some of the places don't even have the gold. What they're talking about, they don't have nothing. They just digitally making it seem as if they have money, and then they're just printing it. The more money you print, the less that dollar is valued. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
The more money you print, the less the dollar is valued. So on top of that, we also have the problem of, with the banking system, you're able to trouble my money. So if I have my own money home, I have to concern myself about the robber coming and probably taking the money out of the safe. But if I don't tell anybody I have this money, then the chances of the robber coming is slim to none. But when it's in the bank, if you feel as a banking institution that I am not handling my money properly, that I'm making too much money, or you feel like money is coming to me that is questionable, you can freeze my account and hold all of my money from me. Okay, and I have to take years to try to sort that out, or I may never get my money back. So
basically, give somebody an explanation for your own money or for your own earnings.
Yes. I if I'm depositing a certain amount of money, I have to give you an explanation as to why I have this amount of money. I have to prove why, that I got it legally. I have to give you an explanation that you feel is
satisfactory.
Yeah, satisfactory to deposit my own money. When I want to go and get my money, I cannot get my money simply because of the fact that you've said to me that I can't withdraw a certain amount of money. I can't do that. You understand? So that's where the problem comes in. All right. So this is where we have the issue. Okay. So somebody came about with a very good idea, and that was, well, they've been trying to do cryptocurrency for like quite a while, actually. Cryptocurrency didn't just start. The idea of crypto or digital currency didn't just start. People were trying to do this for a while. But they never came up with the right algorithm to be able to do it in a sensible way. So so gradually and eventually somebody did come about with it, and this is where Bitcoin was formed, and they just basically put it out there, right? And the good thing about it was they didn't set it up like, okay, now that we have this, you're going to have to be indebted to us for some particular reason. No, it's out there, and it's out there for anyone to use, everyone to use.
Right. Okay? Whoever wants can come and buy or purchase.
Right.
Or invest.
Right.
At the United States.
Yes. Okay. So now, of course, initially it wouldn't have had a huge value. All right. So Satoshi Nakamoto would have been the person who initially came up with the Bitcoin. So once it was created, and he put it out there, other people now were able to use that same platform, that same algorithm, and say, okay, we are now going um, to utilize this. We could create our own coins. Um, that came later, but initially it was building the Bitcoin because Bitcoin then became digital fiat. Initially, it wasn't worth that much. It really wasn't. All right. There's a story where somebody, I think it was like 2 Bitcoins, that they said, hey, if somebody could bring me a large pizza, I'll give you this. And the person did. Now those coins, because Bitcoin itself, 1 Bitcoin is worth over $60,000 today.
Right.
So that person, if they kept those coins, would be worth over $100,000 at this particular point. We need to understand how these things work, but more importantly, we need to realize that we have the capability of attaining these things ourselves, because we need to be focused on wealth, on generational wealth, and realize that it's not as difficult as one might think. Funny enough, things like the stock market and crypto is starting to look more like the melanated people than just the Anglo-Saxon Eurocentric individuals. Okay,
Correct.
you have more and more people getting into it, you know, and it's something that I would advise people to look into, whether it's the stock market, whether it is cryptocurrency. These are things that I would advise people to look into.
Right. I 100% spot on. Completely factual all the way through. Completely historical. Moving forward, and just to kind of break some people's mind here, the money that you're holding, the cash that you are in your possession. You know, it's funny that an he's a mogul. Got to give him his respect to do. He's done well coming from the projects to being one of the top individuals financially in his age group and across the globe. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, said in a recent song, that the money you guys are holding doesn't look like money to the people that actually have money. What did he mean by that? He kind of gave you some wisdom, trying to give you some game, like he said, for $4.99. The fact of the matter is that technically, just technically, if you remove all of the constraints or perceptions of value on the piece of paper that have currency or is currency, a dollar, a coin, if the person that said the $20 bill, which doesn't have a different makeup other than its design than the $1 bill, or the fact that $1 bill in America is worth $20 bills somewhere else. If you remove the
Right.
fact that someone is saying that and you just put it all together, it's just colorful pieces of paper, designed pieces
Yes.
of paper. So it doesn't really actually have a value, and that's what Brother Gamma was saying as far as a fiat currency, meaning that this is something that someone is ensuring that this is. Now, I think in 1960 something, Ronald Reagan moved the United States off of the gold standard. At that time, it made it illegal to hold gold for a period of time.
Yeah.
So Karugans, all the gold that was coming from South Africa and other places, which is still gold there. It's still value in these places, raw value,
Yes.
and people have to
Yeah.
live and build their value on a daily basis. If they don't work, they don't eat. Their currency could devalue. Some places like Venezuela, they wake up one morning. Last night they went to bed, it was $1,000. $1 was worth 1,000 US dollars. Tomorrow, when they wake up, it could be worth less than $1 million. To get
Right.
$1 US. And so
Right.
basically, it's a system that has been set up to basically give you an aggregate value or an average value of what this piece of paper is cost. So the people that came up with this principle, one, and then when you go through all of this to get the money, you still have to bring that money to the standard of somebody's approval, i.e., a bank,
Right.
i.e.,
Right.
you can't travel with more than $10,000, and if you're traveled with upwards of $8,000 in most places, they're looking at you like, well, hey, what's going on? Why do you have
Right.
that? So you can't move an extensive amount of cash. So technically, you're still back to the same standard uh, of not being able to carry around the gold. You only can carry
Right.
around so much gold, for weight
Yes.
purposes, for value purposes. So you still have these standards that are being put on individuals. So is that's something to consider. So now, if you're saying you don't trust, and I just made that statement to say, if you don't trust cryptocurrency, the fact of the matter, can you be so sure? The cash that you have, so there's certain elements of value.
If
Uh,
if if you actually look and do the real research, you would realize that the entire banking system is a Ponzi scheme.
yeah.
So um, the bank takes $1,000 from you, puts it into you deposit it into your account. Legally, they're allowed to utilize 90% of your money for whatever it is that they want to do. So they take 900 from your 1,000 and they lend it to another person at an interest, of course. So they're making this money back, and the more people they lend it to, the more money they're making, and they only put back your money. Prior to, they would have given you a little bit of interest, and even if you're getting interest, the amount of interest is so minuscule, you don't even really notice it. But
Right.
before, you would have been getting a little something back. Now, when it comes to the point where they can't find anyone to lend it to, then they go and they put it into the stock market. You understand? So when they hit big, if they hit big, then you still getting your money back, but they're making money off of your money. You're not making money off of your money, or if you do, it's very minuscule, as I said. On top of it, you have the centralization, which is what you're speaking about. Centralization is them being able to see exactly what you do and control the movement of your money. Decentralization is what the cryptocurrency market is.
Right.
Because anybody can utilize it, anybody can see it, but anybody can't move your money. They can't touch your money. And honestly and truthfully, when you have your money in certain wallets, they can't even tell you who owns the money. They
Correct.
only could tell you that the money is there. Anybody on the platform can see it. It's called the blockchain. Anybody on the blockchain can see what's going on the blockchain, but they cannot tell you who is doing what, who exactly is doing what on the blockchain after all of the movements. Because let's take, for example, um, I can purchase a certain amount of crypto. And I say crypto because Bitcoin is not the only crypto. I mean, there's so many now that it's not funny. They're making new coins every day. But I can purchase Bitcoin, and when I go and I purchase that, I can now sell that through a chain, through like a Binance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that goes back through, that could go to another wallet, and that other wallet might be connected to a company that I own, but my name is not connected to this particular company. So
Mm.
now you can't touch my coins. You understand? Now, I'll say this. There are always going to be legitimate people, illegitimate people. There are always going to be people who are going to be nice, and then there are going to be people who are going to try to take advantage of you, right? So on the blockchain, you may have certain places where you go that are charging a lot to move your coin, and then you have those who really ain't charging much at all. Okay,
Right.
you just in life you just have to go do your research and maneuver with those who you feel you can trust. That's it. All right. and
Yeah.
whoever's giving you the best deal, that's who you work with. So, but the good thing about it is there are ratings on the blockchain. So let's take, for example, um, Royal Bank, Scotia, these other institutions. If you make a report or a complaint that may be logged into the system, something might happen, something might not. 9 times out of 10, something won't happen.
Right.
But but when you're dealing with the blockchain, if there's a problem, you post that on the blockchain, that person can't remove that. That's there. So your ratings are based on what the people are saying you're doing. You understand? So
Right.
now whoever has the highest ratings is obviously going to be the people or the entities that the people are going to utilize to make things happen. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So you have a better chance of finding somebody who is actually honest and credible than you would utilizing the bank who was swinging you from the beginning to be, you know what I mean? They were swinging from the beginning. So
Yeah. Yeah. How confident are you in somebody saying, you know what, no, no, no. Let me just hold your money. Let me hold your money. Because, banks get robbed too. you know, well, they're not impervious. The only thing is they have insurance. So if per se, if you were to say that, let's put together our protective cores, and this is another thing as it relates to our people having security. Shout outs to Professional Renaissance Protection Services. But having security for your assets is definitely beneficial. If, let's just say, in a perfect society, my society being Black society, in our society, if we had everybody in their own trade, everybody in their own field, operating correctly, where we could protect our assets and protect our community and build our own banks and then support and protect the assets in our own banks and in our own institutions. And if, as a leeway or a doorway to the future of building our own community and re-empowering ourselves, let's just give, hypothetically speaking, let's give white people a pass. But again, let's just make believe that slavery didn't happen. I guess
sure.
cryptocurrency backed by African and Black value, backed by our diamonds, our gold, our cobalt, our land, our you name it, is the way to re-empower economically. Keep all the wealth in Switzerland. Keep all the wealth in France. Keep all the wealth in Germany and wherever else, the Slavic countries they might feel. Keep whatever you have right there. But guess what? Whatever it is that you have, you can't get anymore without paying us through cryptocurrency. That's backed by the resources of your country. So to get a new laptop in one of these countries without our cobalt, you can't do it. Without our currency value, utilizing it properly, paying our Black people and paying our African people, our melanated people, this is the new wave. This is how we can re-empower ourselves. And like Brother Gamma said, a lot of our brothers and sisters are seeing the value in it and jumping in and attempting to get a hand in the market. I really feel that it's a way that we can utilize this, us as Black people, us as melanated people, us as kings and queens of the earth. We can use the technology by protecting and utilizing it in combination with our natural resources and yeah, basically bringing it all together, which is something I feel we can do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%. I agree with that. You know, it's a situation where we as a people have been so lost for so long that we truly feel like we can't do what it is that we need to do to get ourselves out of it. But sadly enough, um, we're in a situation where we can save ourselves and don't realize that.
Correct.
All right, there are a couple of countries in the world, if you look at it, the African American, UK, Canada, even certain countries in the Caribbean, not all, because the level of wealth is not the same. But the fact of the matter is, we possess sufficient finances amongst us to make certain things happen. We possess the finances to do it if we just come together. Now, something like crypto stocks, that doesn't have to be a group effort, but it could be, because of course the more you pool together, the more you can actually make from what it is that you're doing. The more money invested, the more money gained, just as the more money invested, the more potential loss there is as well. But the simple fact of the matter is that we have the ability within us to change our own destiny if we just go and focus on what it is that the people have done to get themselves to a particular point. There's a reason why they created the systems. There's a reason why they invest in these systems themselves. All right. So just do what they do.
Yeah.
Learn the process and do what they do.
Correct. And they're pretty much allowing us or making us utilize their system. You know, this is why, you know, I I'm so adamant about any individual, black and or white, melanated or not, that wants to say that no, you know, racism does not exist or we're past that or something like that, because the system has not been reformed. The factors that make and allow the supremacy, which basically is all economic, which is completely 100% economic. That
Yes.
system ties in everything else. Education ties into economics. You could be the smartest person, have 10,000 degrees, but don't have a job or cannot create a job or can't get the funding to create your own business, and you're just like everybody else. Or you made
Yes.
to feel as
Yes.
anybody else. Healthcare, which is being politicized even more often. It comes down to economics. Who can receive it and who cannot? The ones who can't receive it go down a cycle or down a road that is a self recidivizing or recidivizing problem. So economically, the system still exists. We're still using the same banking system that was around hundreds of years ago in slavery. We're still using the same. We actually have commemorations on the U.S. money of people, and even in the Bahamas, that were oppressive
Yes.
of black
Yes.
people. So the
Yes.
money is
Yes.
literally reminding you that you're still a slave.
But
There are slave owners on the money.
but we don't focus on these things,
you know?
because I mean somebody like Christopher Columbus, who is responsible for the decimation of actual nations, is I mean, just in recent times has started to be removed, but you still have money that has him, or the ships that he came on, and as you said, commemorating. It's just crazy. But I'll say this: times are changing in reference to the banking situation, and it's something that they could not avoid. So this is the reason why the banking system is now jumping on board, in my opinion,
Right.
with the crypto situation. If you check and see, you will see whereby a number of banks have already signed on to the digital currency era. They have created their own digital currency. You have things like the sand dollar that has been developed in the Bahamas, and certain things in other countries. All right, so these are things that we need to realize, because the people who control the wealth, I'm not going to call names and the organizations, but they've met. Okay, on more than
Yeah.
one occasion. Recently, they actually had a simulation before, probably about a year or so before, speaking about the financial system the way that it is prone to hackers, and they could see themselves being attacked by these people and shutting the system down. So they're putting things in effect now to be able to switch over so these hackers can get to them. Digital is digital, my brother. So at the end of the day, if they could get you that way, why can't they get you the other way? All you're simply doing, in my opinion, is preparing us for the fact that the economy has to collapse. The system that you have in place now has to collapse because it cannot support itself. You've printed too much money. You have put yourself in a level of debt with other people around the world that can never ever be repaid, because
Yeah.
there was nothing backing this currency that you created. There was nothing backing it. So now you have to go into the digital era, but you can't just slide over into the digital era, leaving things the way that they were. So you're going to have it collapse, make
Yeah.
it seem as if it was destroyed, as if it was tampered with, and you had no other choice but to go into this direction, cashless, paperless. All right,
Yeah.
digital currency, cryptocurrency. All right, and then start from scratch.
Yeah. What is to say? What is to say if, just hypothetically speaking, that if all of this maybe, it would seem stranger than fiction to think that something negative, something where people were not able to work, something that many people lost their lives. We never want to trivialize that. From whatever it is that came from the East, we never want to trivialize that people were and have been passing away and dying from this new strain of flu. But, for some individuals, they are in the economic situation where if it goes bad, they still benefit. And if it goes good, they still benefit. Who's to say that these series of events, many millionaires or billionaires take their products to China or to the East to have something created or to get a prototype or to have something built? Who's to say that they didn't take their genetic, testing or solicit the services of individuals there simply to and simply because they wanted to create something that would further push or speed along the process of that change from a physical fiat currency to a cashless society or a
It
cashless outcome.
Yeah, yeah. In my humble opinion, that's exactly what took place, because we have to realize that these things. A lot of people feel like things just happen. Oh, um, we had a disaster and it just happened. For the most part, that's not the truth. That's not. Now, when
Yeah.
you talk about certain natural disasters, as we had the conversation on the show
Oh
before,
yeah.
certain hurricanes, certain hailstorms and whatnot, certain things, those things are natural. But for the most part, when we talk about these kinds of things, especially with sweeps across the world, those things were man-made, man-created, man-planned.
Yeah.
All right, and for a lot of times, it's in this thing for like 20, 30, 40 years. Okay, so these things don't just up and come about. They have these things planned, and when you go and you do the research, you get to see exactly what's taking place. And as I said, for those of us who know exactly how to connect the dots, then you're able to see exactly what it is that they were really doing. All
Yeah.
right, so these things, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, have been planned.
We
They'll
don't.
continue to
Yeah.
be planned. And so when you're speaking about people who benefit if it goes good or bad, for the most part, they benefit far better if it goes worse, because they were the ones who planned for it to go worse. But if it does go good, then they were ever making money, so that doesn't stop their money from being made.
Perfect segue into the next point. The next issue of relative to this is Amy Loeffler, the 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 former governor of the state of Georgia, or former senator from the state of Georgia. Her and the two individuals there, they did lose their seat, but it is recorded. It is public knowledge. They're in front of the Securities Exchange Commission now for what is insider trading. The both of them were called into an online conference meeting, which they openly admitted and said that they received some information, and then after, within not even, I'd say, to 48 hours, and I'm being generous, they probably immediately went and moved their money and invested it in PPE, personal protective equipment, and Medicare stocks. And they've made, between the two of them, almost $500 million between them, in investing. All this prior to the pandemic. So it's, again, could be completely happenstance, could be completely unbeknownst to anybody. Donald Trump alluded to the fact, he said, "Oh, go, one Chinese or Asian reporter, why are you asking me these questions? I want to ask China. Go and ask these individuals about this." And maybe it ties together, maybe it doesn't, but from the outside, connecting the dots, if you got governors and senators that are going to move their money but not making that information public, and they're benefiting, there was some foreknowledge of what was going to happen, at least by somebody, at least by these two individuals, or maybe they're just happily go luckily just wanted to move their money in unison all at one time. So,
I call bullshit.
you know, maybe maybe they woke up in the morning and they couldn't get their cafe latte, and they said, what, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna move some things around. I'm stuck at $1 billion. Let me move some things around. I don't know. Just all of a sudden,
Bullshit.
yeah, just all of a sudden together. It's everybody.
Yeah, like I say, all of hey, listen, pure unadulterated bullshit. That's
Yeah,
what I call it. Because at the end of the day, right? Coincidences of that kind are
that
rare, if
magnitude,
not
that magnitude,
are rare, if not non-existent. So
impossible. Yep.
they were not the only ones, mind you, but they would have been highlighted because of their position, and they would have been caught in their situation.
All right.
But the fact of the matter is, movements were being made a long time ago. Also, there are quite a few major corporations that either shut down completely, or their major stockholders, the CEOs, sold their things out. They sold it out. They sold the business out.
Right.
Okay, they sold all of their shares. Okay, and some of them moved their shares to some of these kinds of things. So what I'm saying to you is that it was known by those who are high up enough to be affiliated with people who know what's going on. All right,
Yeah.
because whether and this is another reason why I say, when we talk about the racists that they created, the racism that was created, you have people who are in certain leagues, whether it's financially or a certain grouping, and those individuals have links and connections with people who have the links and connections with the people who are actually doing these things.
Right.
So when they get a word, they say, you know what? Well, that's my girl, that's my boy. Let me go link him and just let him know, do this. And they know that once I say something like that, if they didn't listen the first time, the second time I call, you better believe they could do it, because they already see that I see. Because we talk about profits. You're not a prophet. You're not a prophet. Okay, that's bullshit. You just knew what was coming because you had the inside information. That'll make
Right.
you a prophet. Okay.
Which is illegal. And then why not have everybody benefit? If because at that point and at that stage, they had to decide who were going to be the suckers. They had to decide who was going to lose in this battle. If they told everybody, then everybody would perceivably, if they were convincing enough, not everybody would move their money, but at least a greater majority. So, and then of course that would be less for them. So all of this is in looking back in retrospect, it's just definitely a bit disconcerting, because these people decided that the regular ordinary consumer, were going to be the suckers in all of this. Just again, as another note, on another note, talking about cryptocurrencies, we're currently experiencing, we're in the week within the last 7 days, Dogecoin, which was completely created as the basis of a joke, was point 0.7 cents per Dogecoin. Had a market cap or market value of less than 1 billion, maybe 20 million people or something to that effect. And within the last 7, 8 days, it's now 39 cents. With now a market cap of 50 billion people, meaning 50 billion people are invested in this Dogecoin. Of course, bumping up the value. Not sure how the volume and how that all works, but it's up 26%. If you put in $1,000, you probably would have had what is the percentage, and a percentage increase of almost, I'd say almost 8 times just off Dogecoin in your initial investment. Just recently or last week, Coinbase, which is the digital trading wallet, went public and, of course, made some instant millionaires or billionaires. So it's active. It's going on around us. You, whoever you are, wherever you are, you don't really have an excuse to say you didn't invest or you didn't trust it. Do some research. You have the things right here at your disposal, and namely our people. Our black people, we definitely want you to be on the wave moving forward economically. But again,
Yeah, yeah. What I would say in this regard is, one, do your research,
yes.
but two, do not be like so many before who lost out on the opportunity because Bitcoin is not new. Bitcoin itself has been around now 20 years
It's
plus.
sat there. Yep. It's sat there.
Okay. But it built and it grew over the course of time to get to where it is now. And because of Bitcoin, other coins have been able to build and grow to their particular level and caliber as well. So we need to understand that this thing is happening. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It seems to be growing. And the banking system is eventually going to run and get into this arena as well. My advice to anybody is this: before these people get their claws into it, because who knows, they may actually end up making it centralized and you don't have a choice. But get into it before that. Before that. Make your money before they stop you from making your money. And then at least you'll find yourself in a better position. Because as you had said before, they had already decided who was going to be at the bottom end of this all. And a lot of people don't realize that it's every race. They didn't say, we're going to make sure that this particular set of people are rich and everybody else is poor.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they're saying we, as the elite, as the 1%, or the 1% of the 1%, we are going to make sure that we are straight. And anybody who doesn't get straight, screw them. So you need to make certain that you do your research, but get on this investment train. Become the billionaire or even just millionaire that you were set to be in life. Do this.
Yeah. Factoring numbers wise to this equation. If you invested, I remember if you invested, Bitcoin was at 31 cents, much where Dogecoin is now. If you invested $10 into Bitcoin then and bought 30, I don't know what, 10 shares, 30 cents goes into $1 3 times. So that's what, 30 shares of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently $50,000. So 30 times 50, you're talking about you'd be $1.5 million. That's the money that you would have at this moment as we speak. Yep, $1.5 million off of a $10 investment. Back as far as 2009, 2011, even 2013, 2015. So, getting in, doing your research, of course, And then what's it to you? If you lose $10, if you lose $100 to some people, you lose $1,000. It's definitely worthwhile experience to give the risk. And if not, then, it's only 10. It's a cup of coffee.
Yes, because the thing about it is you can't guarantee that there's ever going to be another Bitcoin or another coin on Bitcoin's level. But what you can guarantee is that if you invest in the right coin, you will find yourself getting a surplus.
Correct.
Right? You're gonna be able to make some money off of that money that you invested. And as you said, how difficult is that? You have people who invest hundreds of dollars a week on the lottery that they never win.
Wow.
All right.
Good question. Good point. Good point.
Right. So how difficult is it to say, let me take 1 day's worth of that money and put that into coin or put that into the stock market, or come together with a team of people and put it into real estate. You just need to go and find what works for you, right? But let's start making it happen, because we do possess the financial capabilities to make this thing work.
Yes. Perfectly stated. Good segue, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, first and foremost, again, for tuning into the Humblest Opinion. Myself, Tony Bahama, Malik Adigamba, always trying to be the pulse of your black consciousness, in your black world. How does this affect us? Giving you a humble, simple, educated opinion on some of the stuff that we're seeing and experiencing around us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.
See, there we go. I know destination, you never been there before. Oh, no reservation, come on, let's go and explore. If you never know before, well, it's your chance to know. Let me show you.